So welcome. This is our old tradition, old popular program established to deepen our sense of community. And I have the feeling that it has become even more popular because of the pandemic. We seem to need to remain connected, to know each other better. There has been a demand that presentations be taped and available. So this is happening. Kim Holscher and Dave Teta are making sure that recordings are getting to the office for transfer to our website. So thank you, Kim and Dave, and thank you, Carol Kerr, for publicizing these events. Today we have Trevor Palacio, who will speak for about a half hour, after which there will be time for questions. If you wish to ask a question, please put your name in the chat box, and I will then call on you when the time comes to ask your questions. All right then, Trevor, the floor is yours.
First and foremost, I'm honored to be honored. Thank you guys. So unexpected because Trevor is someone who don't do things for the show. Trevor is the real McCoy, as they would say. I am unapologetic. I choose the battleground where to compromise because I do believe that we compromise a bit too much, and things that matter suffer for that. Nani, thank you for giving me a call a couple of weeks ago to let me know about this opportunity. And as always, you're right here in my heart, always with me. And right now we have Kim, Carol, David, Gretchen, Janice, Jim, Joan, Joyce, Kathy, Christian, Linda, Lisa, Lorraine, Mary, Sally, Sandy, Sandra, Thomas, Marjorie, and Ted. And if I missed any of you,
and there will be.
Go ahead. Okay. And if I missed any of you, again, greetings to each one of you. I have been a UU now for the past 7 years of my life. Always committed to never involving myself or committing to one said specific religion, because I believe that religion can be divisive. But when I ran across Unitarian Universalism and I read those 7 principles, and as far as I'm concerned, what I love about the principles is that a kindergartner could read the principles and understand the principles. Yeah. So you don't have to be a Harvard graduate to understand these principles. And when I read these very simple and basic principles, I said, okay, this is something that I could try. May she rest in peace, Joan Nelson. A year into the first year when she met me, she said, welcome aboard, may she rest in peace, Joan Nelson. She said, welcome aboard. I'm gonna see if you can stick and stay for about a year. And a year later, she approached me and she said, I see you're sticking and that you're staying. And she asked me why. And I explained to Joan at that moment that other than the 7 principles, I felt that I was around a group of Caucasian brothers and sisters who truly wanted to change things from the current status quo. But I also felt, as I told Joan, that they're not ready for what it really means to be a UU. From my perspective, there's a lot that they need to learn, I told Joan. And then she said, that's why I thought you wouldn't stick and stay, Trevor. And as I explained to her, well, Joan, after a year of being here, I've tried to shake certain people's hands and they didn't shake my hands. I've tried to hug certain people, they wouldn't hug me. Later on, they shook my hands, and later on, they hugged me. Uh, um, and that's what I meant to Joan. And that's what I meant when I told Joan that they're not really ready for what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. You have to be the real McCoy. Going back to how I introduced myself. Some of you may or may not know what it means when someone says the real McCoy, but it's something that's bona fide. And again, use that I've gotten to know from Reverend Chip Wright to Joan Nelson, who's no longer with us. You guys are bona fide and genuine. I've had an opportunity to speak on the pulpit twice. I actually hunger to speak more on that pulpit. I thirst to speak more on that pulpit, and particularly because of the condition of the world that we're living in. The two times that I got on that pulpit, my message was the same. And it's about yous who are here in Marin County truly being a group of individuals who, if you dare to mobilize and organize yourselves like you're currently doing, what Sister Linda is doing with MOC is what UU is all about. If you dare to follow the example of Linda or the example of Chip at the time, who tried to align us with the Hannah Project in Marin City, nothing became of that. But it was a beautiful effort by him. Again, that was proof. And I know that you guys didn't invite me here today to chop you up, but I'm not going to chop you up. I love each one of you. I want that to be clear. But again, we have to be bona fide. We have to be true if we're really going to shift the paradigm in our society. And again, Chip tried, nothing happened of it. Linda and I have been talking about how do we re-engage and make it happen. But you have to dare to do what the MOC is doing, and taking your affluence, taking your, not only your affluence, but your position as a person not of color, a Caucasian brother or sister, particularly because that's the majority of the group. And I know that not all of us are Caucasian brothers and sisters, but I'm talking to the majority here. If you dare to utilize your affluence, if you dare to utilize your skin tone, like Jeff Melcher is doing right now in Berkeley, about white fragility and attacking it and approaching it from a perspective that is really going to be impactful. Someone says that they want to know where I'm from and my upbringing, etc. I'm a Garifuna man. Garifuna. Garifuna people are the indigenous Black people to the Western Hemisphere. We've always been here. And if you want to know who's indigenous, ask them to speak a native tongue. If they can't speak a native tongue, they're most likely not indigenous. And the Garifuna people, we have our native tongue, we have our own religion, we have our own culture and philosophies. We were exiled from St. Vincent in 1797 by Britain. The first attempt was in the 1600s, 1630s by France, but they were not successful. They became a part of our community and later on partnered with the British in 1793 to exile the Garifuna people, and they were successful April of 1797, where my people ended up in Honduras. Belize, where I was born. I was born in Belize, but I don't claim to be a Belizean. I claim to be a Vincentian, where my ancestors were exiled from. Um, my eyes opened in Honduras, born in Belize. My eyes opened in Honduras, where my mother and father are from, Virginia Palacio and Isidro Palacio, may he rest in peace. And I stayed there from age 3 to 9. And then I moved to Houston, Texas, 1986 during the Reagan days. It was a tumultuous time to move to the United States of America for a young Black man who lived in an African American community but did not speak English, spoke Spanish. But the community was divided by a railroad track in Houston, Texas, the Fifth Ward in Denver Harbor, and Latinos lived in Denver Harbor, and the African American community lived on the other side. So unfortunately for me, I was beat up on both sides of the track. My bike was stolen on both sides of the track because where I lived, I couldn't relate. On the other side, there were issues going on between the Blacks and the Latinos, and Trevor paid the price. My brothers and sisters and I, we paid the price for that. Later on, in and out of New York City, and then as an adult, Dallas, Texas, and 7 years now in Marin County. I don't know if there's anything particular that you guys may want to know about me so that I just don't go off the top of my head, because based on what I was informed and instructed to do, to have a talk and talk with you. And at some point, my conversation may go back and forth to days of young, to current days, and certain experiences that I've been through. But I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to really, again, just like the 2 times that I was on the pulpit, to talk to you, to engage with you. And now 2020 more than ever is palpable as to why the UUs of Marin really need to understand that you can make a big difference. You truly can make a big difference. So if there are any questions that anyone may have, I'll go ahead and answer that right now.
All right, then we can have questions. Just put your name in the chat box and I will call on it.
Thank you. Linda just sent the message right now asking what brought me to Marin.
Yes.
And I've had this conversation with several of you that I came here after a job. I got promoted to store manager for a rental-owned business called Rent-A-Center 7 years ago, 2013. I didn't even keep that job for 8 months before there was an issue there, and I was forced to resign. And I started my own delivery business at the time, Front Door Deliveries, and I was driving for Uber. But it was a job that brought me to Marin County. But if I were to answer that question right now, and I've said this before, it was UU that brought me to Marin County. It was the beautiful people who are actually in a position to make a difference in the world, connecting with a brother like me. I'm unique in different ways. I'm just not Garifuna, but I travel this country working in different African American communities, Latino communities across this country. So I get to see firsthand what is actually going on in this country. So what brought me to Marin County or Marin was to connect with you guys. Okay. Sister Janice and her husband have blessed me financially to do some important work in my community that has made a difference all the way to the United Nations. Chip Wright has done the same thing. Sister Karen has done the same thing. But it's not all about the finances, because I've been able to sit down with Jeff Melchner and just grow and talk about different things that broaden my horizon. But it's you why I'm here, each one of you. Someone wants to know. Go ahead, Nani.
Yes, go ahead. Tell us about your parents, your family.
My parents is five of us, four kids. I mean, five kids, four boys and one girl. I'm the middle child. There's only one girl in the family. And her name is Devani. My eldest brother is Kevin. My next youngest brother is Dwight, and my baby brother is Waldo. My father again has moved to the other realm. My mother is back and forth from Honduras to Houston, Texas, and I'm not attached to family. Some people would say that's a sad thing. Or rather, let me say I'm not attached to immediate family. I'm because the world is my family. If I make sense to you guys, the world is my family. When I see someone hurting down the street, or when I see a woman walking down the street, I treat her like my mother. When I see a young lady walking down the street, irrespective of her race, I see her like my sister. Older man, my uncle. So I'm not attached to family like most people are, because I feel that every person that I come across is my brother and my sister.
Thank you. You're married, are you not?
Yes, married for 18 years, together for 25 years. Her name is Lakeisha. And I do have a son who's 22 years old, not with Lakeisha, and two grandchildren now. I'm a grandfather now. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tyreek Jr., who's a year plus, and Monty, who's about 4 months old.
Okay, Lisa Cohen apparently said that you wanted to go to a seminary once. Is it still on your mind or not anymore?
I believe I'm predestined to end up in the seminary when Yahweh, paves the way for it. Is something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. It's just not affordable for me. Not affordable, not only financially, time wise. It's a bunch of things that kind of get into the way of it, Lisa. But if I could definitely afford to go to the seminary, I would, because it's I can leverage myself that way. I could do more for my community, as a member of the clergy.
Yes, I understand. Kathy Curtis is asking, do you have interactions with the Canal Community Alliance, and with Marin City?
It's the interaction that I was asking. That's what, do you think that there should be interactions between the two groups? Because often there's dissent and they're both very poor. So.
Yeah, well, the dissent is calculated and designed, and where right now it's an internal thing in the canal that the community of Canal don't want to partner with the people of Marin City. And it's an internal thing with the people in Marin City. They don't want to partner with the brothers and sisters in the canal. It's like a social norm now, and there's no problem with it when there is actually a problem with it. And that's a good question to ask. But I myself, you'll find me in both neighborhoods.
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah, you'll find Trevor in all of the neighborhoods.
Good.
Connecting dots. Very good. So Ted Gabler is asking, what do you think of the UUA's efforts to educate us about systemic racism? The UUA doing a good job?
Well, we could do better.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could be frank and earnest with you, we could definitely do better. Because again, I've been a member for 5 years, but I've been around for 6. And in the 6 years that I've been around, I'm the only Negro that I know has consistently been around for 6 years. I have not seen any Latinos come in and really try to engage and be a part of it. We have we have the pianist, forget his name, I'm sorry.
Milton.
We have Milton. We have one Asian there on a consistent basis. We have a couple of Indian brothers and sisters there. We could do better. I'm not going to beat you up. We can do better. But what we're currently doing right now with the MOC is the best thing that I've seen us do. Again, Linda, hats off to you and the team for what you guys are doing there. And when I speak of we could do better, we need to do more outreach. That the UUs are not into proselytizing, and I would defer and say, let's not use the word proselytizing them, but let's figure out how we could actually do some outreach to change.
Oops, what happened? What happened here?
Huh. Looks like we lost Trevor.
Oh my, all of a
Let's
sudden.
Hope
Yeah.
he'll come back on because he knows how.
Oh, okay, I hope so. Yes. It's very touching. It's very touching to me that he is so passionate about making a difference himself. He doesn't care a great deal about his own personal life. It's very touching.
Repeat that, Nani. My iPhone has been acting up all day. My apologies for that. I missed what you said, Nani.
I was just admiring your commitment to being actively involved, to support all these wonderful values that you adopted so happily from our 7 principles, and to keep working to make a difference. And you're not concerned about your own personal life much. You're giving. You're so much of a giving kind of person, and that is admirable. I think.
Well, Nani, again, I don't do it for the accolade.
I know.
You know, we do it because that's the example that we're supposed to set.
Yeah.
You know, the greatest. I mean, like right now, I'm not going to tell you what I have in my bank account.
Oh my goodness, what's happening?
Mhm. His phone keeps cutting out, he said, and that's what's happening.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
So when Trevor comes back on, I think Jim Prochaska would like to ask him a question.
this, I see that. Okay. Well, let's hope he does.
And Jim Harrison had a question too.
Okay, I see all that in front of me, so let's hope he gets back soon. Yes, I know we all can nod when he hears say, look how few Blacks there are, look how few Latinos there are among us in our congregation. And that is, I'm so sorry that we're not more diverse, but you know how it is. One is comfortable in one's own community very often, and you have to break through a certain level of discomfort to come into a community that looks as different as we do. And that's one reason to admire our speaker. He just came right in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was not going to leave because I was the only Black guy there, because I've been asked, why do I stay?
Yeah.
Being the only Black guy, because if I didn't believe in you, Nani, if I didn't believe in the Proshkas, and if I didn't believe in Kim and Carol and David, I would be gone, because this, you know, the UU was not my first or last stop.
Yeah.
But the UU was where I decided I was going to take my banner, my flag, and say, okay, this is going to be my religious home, right?
Yeah.
And it's particularly because whether you're gay, whether you're Black, whether your nose is on your ass or whatever it may be, you're welcome.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Jim Prochaska had a question for you. Jim, are you there?
Yes, and it's more interaction. Trevor, you're such an impressive individual in so many ways. So articulate, so passionate, so concerned about really important issues. As a professor, I wonder why one of the major UU seminaries wouldn't have fellowships and stipends for someone that has such an exceptional capabilities. And can you help me understand in terms of what kind of support there is in like a leading seminary in the area?
Well, I went to Starking to see what kind of help I could get to go in. But even with the help that is available, there are some scholarships that I could apply for and qualify for, but the cost is still exuberant. It's still beyond what I could. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely expensive. Now, I would wish that I could walk in there and introduce myself like I did, and they say, "Hey, you're a shining star. Let's help you get to where you need to go to. Humanity will be better for it," right? But that's not the reality, though. And maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Maybe that's what it is.
But when you have an exceptional person, they should be able to make exceptions.
Yeah, there is another seminary across the bay, isn't there? A bigger one. That's not UU specifically, but it's closely related. Oh, sorry, I don't remember the name.
There's a couple of seminaries out here, but no one is teaching how they teach at the UU.
Yeah.
Again, the principles
Yeah.
that we exemplify as UU.
Yeah.
There's no other religion out there doing it. I know, because again, I've tapped into most all of them.
Yeah.
And I've played around with most all of them, at least the particular, the ones we really know about, because there's about 4,200 religions out there. I don't know them all, but I've delved into them.
Yeah.
The one you're thinking of, San Francisco Theological Seminary. That's the other one besides Starkling.
Oh, I see.
There is also DTU.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Where does the beautiful music come from?
Well, I'm afraid that's my family. They could be singing. Folks, could you?
I'm gonna close the door. Well, all right. I guess there are no additional questions that I see. David France mentions this.
Jim Harrison too.
Okay. David France said that he does not have a question, but he wants to say how much he enjoyed your presence and how much he values you. So thank you again. Anyone else?
Thank you, David.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just say, what does the future hold? We have Jareen Delaney next time, and that's December 11. And we will not have a second December meeting because we'll be busy for Christmas. But we do have a speaker to start off the new year. George Pegalo will open the new year on January 8th. And please remember that I like to get names of members that you would like to be invited, so send them to me. And thank you all again. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for speaking, and thank you for keeping this tradition alive.